just a month or so back, I was absolutely mesmerized and in awe of this lady who paid homage to an absolute national treasure, the Nightingale, who unfortunately is no longer physically present with us, Lata Mangeshkar. I mean, Palak, it is such an honor to have you on filmishilmy.com. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Anush. Pleasure being here.
Right. Now, I know, एक वक्त हो गया है. I think obviously it's a good समय हो गया है since you performed at the Royal Albert Hall in London. But talk to me about that experience. I mean, I can imagine the amount of pressure you were faced with. I mean, obviously to live up to the legacy, to perform in such a iconic venue in Britain. Explain all those emotions and what you went through at that point.
If it's firstly, let me just establish that it's been one of the most amazing experiences of my life to perform at the Royal Albert Hall. It was my third performance at the venue, but this time it was very, very special because it was a tribute to my idol Lata Mangeshkar ji. I wouldn't like to use the word pressure, but there was definitely a sense of responsibility because Lata ji is the Nightingale. She's the legend. We all have worshipped. Truly, I personally have worshipped Lata ji all my life, and I've learned so much listening to her songs. And this time, I was giving a tribute to her on a world platform. It was such a prestigious event. There was CBSO, City of Birmingham, a symphony orchestra playing along. I had prepared for this concert in a different way than I prepared for my other concerts because this time I was involved in the process of production, the process of designing the whole concert in a particular way, a selection of songs and everything related to it. I was having video calls, we were having conferences. From London and here, and I was speaking with the producers, deciding on the parts that we wanted to incorporate. It was such a difficult task to actually shortlist a few songs to sing out of the magnanimous list of songs that Lataji has to her credit. But I'm really happy that I could do it. I feel that the tribute was directly from my heart and it reached people's heart and I'm happy about that.
Oh, beautiful. And I think the selection of songs, यार क्या गाने चुने थे आप लोगों ने मतलब सारे के सारे iconic songs but not the obvious choices as well. It was a really good mix. And I think that was made it what made it very special. In fact, एक
Mhm.
obviously ए मेरे वतन के लोगों जब आपने गाया था तो सच में even as I speak right now मेरे रोंगटे खड़े हो रहे हैं literally like the way we could hear when you say Jai Hind and through the you know with the orchestra at the back. I mean, as an Indian, to really show not just, of course, your love for Lata ji, but I think as well to show your love for your country and represent your country as well on such a एक बड़े पैमाने में वो एक responsibility था, I'm sure, like you said as well. So, uh, again, when you were singing "Ye Mere Watan Ke Logo," did you feel that sense of Desh Bhakti kind of also seep into it?
Of course, and this song is iconic in itself. When Lataji sang it, the Prime Minister had tears in his eyes, and it was that moment which made the song iconic apart from the magic the song already has. I was giving tribute to Lataji A, and like you rightly put, I mean, along with the feeling of responsibility for singing a song sung by Lataji, there was also a responsibility of representing the country the right way because I was the only Indian on that stage and I was giving tribute to an Indian. And what a better song to choose than "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo," and it's one of the most iconic songs in Lataji's list as well. And I'm so happy that I could sing it there because there were so many Indians in the audience, and the audience were dominated by Indians. And that moment when I said Jai Hind, I truly, literally felt like the whole nation is doing Jai Hind along with me. If you notice, my hand also went like this,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it was a magical moment for me. Yeah.
Oh gosh, it was truly magical. But you know, one thing, Palak, I have to say, I've been a fan of your voice for many years. And this is kind of beyond, before, even slightly just before the Aashiqui 2 era, which we will be speaking about because I mean we have to. I mean it's a decade since you had that massive breakthrough. But one thing that I love about your voice, Palak, is you have a very soft texture to your voice. But yet every time you sing, there's always a smile on your face. And जब भी आप गाती हो वो एक मुस्कान है, एक नरम feel होती है. But but even when you sing with pain, I always feel like you smile, even when you're singing through pain as well, or songs to do with that. How do you manage that? I would love to know.
I'm really amazed that you noticed it because whenever you must have heard my songs, you must have not seen me singing those songs. And like you said, that whenever I sing an emotional song, also there's a sense of smile. There's a sense of I can say maybe peace. Because that is how I am as a person. Even when I face challenging situations, I always like to have a positive perspective towards them. And that's why, even when I'm playing a character through my voice, for painful, emotional songs, I like to bring in that personal, positive, hopeful, optimistic element in the song. And I'm glad that it reached you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. But I think when it comes to your affinity to music and stuff, I mean, I know you've done this since a very young age. Like you've been trained in music for a very long time. Um, but I think when you do, especially now, I mean, as a kid, you're kind of learning the ropes, you're getting used to it and understanding the art for what it is. But जब आप बड़े होते हो, जब experiences आप अनुभव करते हो, तब
Hmm.
you kind of become wiser. And how do you feel like a lot of life circumstances as an adult has really, I guess, soaked in and absorbed into the music and the way you sing certain songs?
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि as a kid also I was quite a mature kid because I remember every single incident from my childhood, and the way I used to think then, I think exactly the same way now. How I used to perceive situations then, nothing has really changed. The only difference is that when I started singing romantic songs like Aashiqui 2 happened at a time when I wasn't in a relationship. I had not experienced love in that sort. But now when I am in a relationship, I'm married, I do feel those emotions. But I think to deliver, to render, to sing, or even to play a character, you necessarily don't have to feel things that way. You can derive emotions from the experiences around you, from people around you, and that's what I've done. And I feel that, I mean, even in my charity work, that's been the major factor that I've always been able to feel other people's pain. And this basic emotion has been consistent. I can say that with experience, your emotions get evolved, you get polished, you get stable mentally, and that is what has happened. But even when I used to sing Lata Ji's song, say record to Lata Ji's song as a kid, because I didn't have songs of my own then to sing, I would sing them the same way how I sing them now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the sort of lens that I think you've explored, especially Indian playback singing as well, is quite, even though of course you're quite trained in music, of course, but it's kind of through the lens of commercial cinema, right? Because obviously the experiences that you've had have been what? I mean, I'm gonna attribute two figures here from what I've understood from your discography. Please correct me if I'm wrong here. But again, because you've worked with Himesh Reshammiya, the Madam was one of your first experiences, right? I think as an artist. Then of course Salman Khan, because you sang Lapata in Ekta Tiger, and then you went on to do. So these are two very huge, I mean, commercial names and superstar names. But I guess how have you managed to fuse? I guess the knowledge you have of Sangeet with the sort of genre and the style of work you were approached with. How did you manage to form that fusion?
I feel that when you're trained in Indian classical music, uh, it's just it just establishes your base. It just establishes rock solid platform for you, and then you can just fly in whichever direction you want. Whenever I go to record a song in Bollywood per se, I mean, every Bollywood song is based on Indian classical music. Some are lighter interpretation of it, some are quite intense. But if you have your background lead in Indian classical music, it just gets a little easier, for lack of a better word, for a singer to, work on whatever challenge is thrown upon you. And I have been very, very fortunate to have received such rich compositions like Prem Ratan Dhan Payo, or the songs in Aashiqui too, or Himeshji's compositions, or the songs that I've Kaun Tujhe Pyar Karega. All these songs required me to be, firm in my riyaz of Indian classical music. And that has really helped me. So you can't really separate my training in Indian classical and Bollywood, because that has really helped me to deliver this. Yeah.
I think one of the most underrated commercial songs, if I may say so, of yours, I think has to be "Hue Bechin" from "Ek Deewana Tha." I think I got the film title in the wrong order, but that was such a
Mhm.
beautiful song. I think the way you crooned that, it really brought me back and took me on a nostalgic trip to the 90s, you know. I think that's another thing about your voice, is that there is a very haunting but yet nostalgic feel to your आवाज as well.
आवाज पे बहुत सारे कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स मिलते हैं, बट आई हाउ कैन आई टेक द क्रेडिट ऑफ इट, बिकॉज आई मुझे ये आवाज भगवान से ही मिली है, तो बस उनको थैंक यू कहना चाहूंगी. बट आई एम ग्लैड कि जिस तरह आप भी बयां कर रहे हैं, जब भी मैं गाना गाती हूँ मैं कोशिश करती हूँ कि पूरे दिल से गाऊं, और अगर वो आपके दिल तक पहुंचता है तो मेरा मकसद पूरा हो जाता
Okay, right. Ashiki too. I mean, what can I say about this album? I mean, it really is so iconic that it's not just even in India, but globally now. Even Westerners know Tum Hi Ho. They recognize that as an anthem of Bollywood, quite
है.
literally.
या.
When
यस.
you sang all the songs, most of the songs from that, I mean, the few songs that you sang from Ashiki too back then, did you ever think that it would suddenly snowball into becoming so iconic?
While we were in the process of recording the songs, obviously nobody was thinking about the result, because the process itself was so enriching. I mean, recording Chahu Main Aana for Jeet Ganguly sir, or recording Meri Aashiqui for my husband now, Mithun ji. Was surreal for me as a singer. I was just starting off, and for me to get an opportunity to be a part of something so iconic like Aashiqui 2, because the music of Aashiqui 1 was loved immensely. There was definitely a sense of responsibility to be matching to the expectations that were kind of laid upon us. But the process was very, very organic. It was quite joyful, and nobody thought about the result per se. When I heard Tum Hi Ho the first time, I had a feeling that this song is going to be unmatchable. This song is going to be loved in a way that nobody has ever imagined. And the whole album of Aashiqui 2 got such immense love. Now we've just completed a decade of Aashiqui 2. And till today, whenever we perform the songs on stage, it just feels like the amount of love that we get, it just feels like it released yesterday. I'm so happy that in my career, I got to be a part of something as magical as Aashiqui 2. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. I think the fan inside me खुदक खुदक के ये बोल रहा है. Please, अगर थोड़े से लाइन डिसाइड कर सके मेरी आशिकी के, oh God, I think मजा आ जाएगा. Please.
मेरी बातों में तेरा जिक्र सदा, मेरी याद में तेरी जिक्र सदा, मैं जो भी हूँ तुम ही तो हो, मुझे तुमसे मैं अपनी अदा, क्योंकि तुम अब तुम जिंदगी अब तुम.
My God, I feel like I was on a concert. Like that was so beautiful. Thank you so much for that. I mean, but my requests are not just done yet. I will ask you for one or two more songs afterwards. But speaking a bit more about Aashiqui too, again, it was a very important time, I think, back then because, like we said, it was a huge breakthrough for you, and I think for Arijit as well. Um, so, and ironically as well, even for the lead actors, for Aditya and for Shraddha, it became a huge game changer in their lives. When you were working on the songs and when you were working with Mithun, because I can see why you and Mithun have a very similar, like, sort of sensibilities towards music, and I think the way you approach your crafts as musicians and as singers. But what was the experience like in terms of, if you could please pinpoint like a particular moment or a memory that will always stick with you?
Recording both the songs for Aashiqui 2 was a very, very memorable experience for me. And when I got the first call to record, it was from Jeet Ganguly sir for Aashiqui 2, and my parents were very, very happy because they were aware of the magic that Aashiqui 1 had created, and they were very excited I was being a part of Aashiqui 2. I had no idea because I wasn't even born when Aashiqui 1 released. Then I went to the studio and Jeet sir played me Chahu Main Aana. If you've seen the film, you know that it comes at a time when she's in the studio the first time singing probably the biggest song of her career, Aruhi. And Jeet narrated me the story. I related so much with that character because for me to sing for Aashiqui 2 was equally important. And when the song released, also, I got so many nominations, many awards as well. So for me, singing at studio, Chahu Maina, those very lines which are picturized in Arohi was exactly the same situation was shown in the film. And then I got another call by Mithun sir. That's what I call him professionally. And he told me that he wanted me to record a song for Aashiqui, this own second song. When I heard Meri Aashiqui, I was in love with that song. It was so peaceful, yet melodious, yet serene, yet divine. And there are certain compositions you don't even have to put in efforts for it to sound good. I just sang, and it just sounded so divine. And I got my very first award for the best upcoming playback singer of the year for that very song, Meri Aashiqui, these Cine Awards. So the whole experience was, yeah, I don't think I can ever forget that.
And it's quite ironic as well because even though it was a sequel, but yet it came up with very original renditions. And I think at a time like this, where I feel nostalgia is the most appealing thing, whether it's a film, whether it's music, in any kind of arena, I feel like people are now holding on to nostalgia for dear life. And I do kind of think maybe because of the pandemic and the grief that we've gone through, it kind of gives us a sense of sukoon, that assurance that, there is those memories that we can still hold on to. But I think, there's also this whole sort of zamana of sequels now that are coming up, and we're seeing not just new songs in those, but also recreations. How important would you say is it, Palak, to even have sequels and remakes, but to find originality within those? And do you think people are now looking at remixes and that whole remake culture with a different lens now as well?
I feel that, and that's completely my opinion. I feel that recreations, if done the right way, uh, are a blessing because I feel that the amount of work, the quality of work that our legends have done, and the creations, the songs that they have left behind, if they are presented to the current generation in a new way, without doing any छेड़छाड़ with the soul of the song, because मुझे लगता है कि जहां अपने गाने की आत्मा को बदला वहीं वो गाना ही बदल जाता है. तो अगर उस गाने की आत्मा को इंटैक्ट रख के आप रिक्रिएशन करते हैं और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंटली एक ट्रिब्यूट देने के इंटेंशन से, ना कि कुछ प्रूव करने के इंटेंशन से, तो आई थिंक आज की जनरेशन को वो आइकॉनिक मेलोडीज एक नए तरीके से सुनने को मिलती है. हम रिलेट कर पाते हैं उन मेलोडी से बिकॉज इट्स प्रेजेंटेड इन अ न्यू साउंड. So I think it's a it's a really good thing, and I feel that Gadar too is an example of that. The way Mithun ji has recreated those songs, keeping the soul, the original soul of the song, and yet giving his own touch, element, and soul, which just made the song sound even more beautiful. I think अगर recreation सही intention के साथ किए जाएं तो मुझे लगता है कि अच्छी चीज.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. And I think that's so true. I think it's about being sincere. And I think that's what is so important. In fact, I'm glad we're talking about sincerity here because I know आपने अभी अपना charity work को लेके थोड़ी सी बातचीत की, but मैं उस बात को थोड़ा और I would like to speak a bit more about it because I think it's so wonderful that philanthropy and I think using one's you know I wouldn't say stardom, but a sort of level of success that one has to really give back to people who are in need. I think is सबसे बड़ा पुण्य का काम होता है. And I think it's so wonderful and really congratulations to you for really being a human and being a good human. And I think it's so rare to have that. But जब संगीत की बात आती है, again, हम emotions के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, but I think also आपकी एक clarity of mind है. And I feel like, do you think that actually the clarity of mind that you have is actually due to the charity work that you do? And how do you think that clarity of mind also then transpires into the art as well? We spoke about grief and pain, but it would be nice to get the clarity of mind perspective as well.
That's a very interesting perspective, actually, and I have never thought about it. But yeah, I mean, to have your priorities clear in life is something I've always had. I decided to become a playback singer at the age of 4. But having a career, having a hobby, having wealth, all these things are different. But when we talk about purpose of life, it's very important to have clarity there. And I feel that I'm truly blessed to have realized my purpose of life at an early age. The gift that I received from God in form of music was given to me for a purpose, and to realize that and to actually materialize that into action is what gave me clarity in life. When I perform, whenever I do a concert, the whole remuneration goes for the surgeries of heart patients, the kids who are suffering from heart diseases, whose parents cannot afford their surgeries. And मुझे लगता है कि जब भी आपको भगवान कुछ देते हैं तो वो आपको लोगों में बांटने के लिए देते हैं, लोगों की भलाई करने के लिए देते हैं. और जब भी मैं उन बच्चों के चेहरे पर मुस्कान देखती हूँ इस गिफ्ट की वजह से जो मुझे भगवान से मिली है, तब मुझे लगता है कि मेरी लाइफ का जो मकसद है वो फुलफिल हो गया है. तो वो जो एक क्लैरिटी मेरे मकसद को लेकर थी लाइफ में, वो डेफिनेटली मेरे काम में हो या अदर एरियाज इन माय लाइफ डेफिनेटली रिफ्लेक्ट्स देयर. And I feel very, very fulfilled as an artist, as a person, when I'm able to stay connected to the purpose of my life.
Let's talk about spirituality a little bit, Palak. If you could name me a time when, let's just say that there was absolute darkness in your life, where you've gone through something which seemed almost impossible. At that point, how did spirituality help you?
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर आप जिंदा हैं, अगर आप के अंदर सोल है, तो आपके अंदर से स्पिरिचुअलिटी को अलग किया जा ही नहीं सकता. Whenever there is soul, there is spirit. एंड आप जितना उससे कनेक्टेड रहते हैं, उतनी ज्यादा आप अलाइव फील करते हैं. टुडे सो मेनी पीपल फील लॉस्ट, सो मेनी पीपल फील डिप्रेस्ड, बिकॉज आई फील दैट they walk away from the spirituality in their life. They walk away from the purpose of their life, as I mentioned earlier. And मेरे लिए spirituality का सबसे बड़ा जो meaning है वो यही है कि आप इस दुनिया में आए हो एक पर्पस के लिए, और अगर वो आप पर्पस फुलफिल कर रहे हो, अगर आप उस भलाई के रास्ते पर, उस नेकी के रास्ते पे चल रहे हो, तो आप किसी भी रिलीजन को बिलोंग करते हो, आप स्पिरिचुअल हो. हर किसी का यहाँ पे होना एक किसी ना किसी पर्पस के लिए ही है. और अगर आपको वो कुछ लोगों को जल्दी मिल जाता है, कुछ लोगों को देर से मिलता है, लेकिन एज लॉन्ग एज आपका इंटेंशन है कि आप उस पर्पस को ढूंढना चाहते हो, इफ यू आर अ सीकर, यू विल डेफिनेटली गेट देयर. एंड मेरे साथ तो कई सारे ऐसे वाकये हुए हैं. जब भी बच्चों की सर्जरीज होती है, तब मैं ऑपरेशन थिएटर में रहती हूँ, So my charity doesn't finish only till, giving a certain amount for the surgery. I actually am present there. I be there during the whole surgery and I pray. I chant नवकार मंत्र जिसमें मुझे बहुत ज्यादा श्रद्धा है. मैं गीता का पाठ करती हूँ, गायत्री मंत्र बोलती हूँ सर्जरी के दौरान. और आई थिंक वो मान्यता की बात है. अगर आप बिलीव करते हैं तो चीजें हो जाती हैं. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अगर आप, इफ यू बिलीव इन मैजिक, मैजिक हैपेंस. एंड मेरे साथ ऐसे बहुत सारे चमत्कार हुए हैं जब मैंने प्रार्थना की है और वो प्रार्थना भगवान ने सुनी है बच्चों के लिए. और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आप कितने भी पैसे कमा ले, आप कितने भी सफल हो जाएं जिंदगी में. And because you asked me a question related to spirituality, though I have spoken about this earlier in a different context, but जब मैं उन बच्चों के चेहरे पे मुस्कान देखती हूँ और मुझे पता होता है कि उस मुस्कान के पीछे की वजह मैं हूँ, मेरे लिए वो सबसे बड़ी स्पिरिचुअलिटी.
So true. Absolutely. और कहते हैं ना भगवान हर एक व्यक्ति में बसते हैं. So, and especially in the kids as well. I mean, that's like the purest form of innocence. I wish we could go back to that era. Honestly, I always think that. I had seen a few Instagram reels where people had actually taken voice samples of other famous Indian singers, and AI tries to replicate that into a different song. It was terrifying but brilliant at the same time. A very weird mix between the two. But like, what do you, how worried actually or concerned would you say about the whole idea of technology substituting for human efforts nowadays? Is that something you've necessarily thought about?
I honestly don't take that much seriously. Of course, it's a great achievement technically. I mean, if we are progressing so much, but I don't really feel that any machine can be a substitute of soul. So you can replicate voice, but you can't replicate a soul. That is what makes a robot different from a human being. And that's why I really appreciate. In fact, I really have been enjoying some of the versions, the machine versions of a few songs. I found it very interesting and very, very surprising also. At the same time, I don't take that much seriously. But at the same time, the advantages that we have in terms of the technological progression, I
Hmm.
feel that are tremendous. Because पहले के समय में जब गाना होता था तब सब एक टेक में गाते थे. बहुत सारे म्यूजिशियंस लाइव प्ले करते थे. एंड वो बहुत ही अमेजिंग दौर था जिसके बारे में मैंने बहुत सुना है. लेकिन आज हम सबको लिबर्टी है कि हम एक एक टेक, एक एक लाइन, एक एक वर्ड भी रिकॉर्ड कर सकते हैं टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से. एंड बहुत सारी ऐसी सॉफ्टवेयर आए हैं जिसकी वजह से कोई भी गा सकता है, नेमिंग ऑटो ट्यून एज वेल. तो हाँ, काफी सारे नुकसान भी हैं, लेकिन बहुत फायदे भी हैं.
जी, बिल्कुल. फायदे के साथ साथ आई वुड लव टू नो कि ऑफ कोर्स आपका जो एक रूट्स है वो ऑफ कोर्स लोगों की हेल्प करने में ही है, टू बी सेवा जो हम कहते हैं. It's obviously of course to be there for the people, to pay service also through the arts as well, and to really excel as an artist. But what would you say your focus right now, other focus has been as well, besides the charity work and all of that? What would you say is something that really drives you as an artist?
Drives me as an artist. Um, I feel that apart from my mission, I am always seeking perfection. I am a very restless person when it comes to, and I think I'm mentioning about it for the first time. I look like this composed, calm, patient person, but internally I am always very, very hungry for knowledge. I'm always looking forward to learning something new, bettering my skills. I'm never happy with my performances, and my music directors know this because whenever they tell me, "Yeah, ये बहुत अच्छा take था," and I say, "One more, please. I can do better." So I think, yeah, that walking towards bettering myself every single day when I wake up, I just want to be a better version of myself than yesterday. That is what keeps me going. That is what keeps motivating me. Um, do better and to learn more and to evolve. And right now, my focus, apart from my work and my charity work and my family, is my marriage. And I'm truly, truly enjoying this new, beautiful phase of my life and cherishing every single moment. Yeah.
You do make a very beautiful pair, though, I have to tell you.
Thank you.
I think we were all like, "Arey wah, Aashiqui ne mila di jodi." Like when we saw the news that people were getting married, I was like, "Wow, great! The universe really conspired to make it happen." Okay, but you know what, Palak? If you could also talk to us a bit about some of your upcoming projects, what you've been really busy doing as well, that would be great.
बहुत सारे गाने हैं जो रिकॉर्ड हुए हैं, बहुत जल्द रिलीज भी होने वाले हैं, कुछ बहुत ही ज्यादा एक्साइटिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं जिन पे मैं काम कर रही हूँ. एंड एवरी टाइम एनीबडी आस्क्स मी दिस क्वेश्चन आई फील like an extra urge to speak about them, which I'm not allowed to.
Uh,
But yeah, I'm really looking forward for you all to listening to them, to watching me doing some really exciting things, some certain things that I've not even done before. सो बस उम्मीद यही है कि जितना प्यार अभी तक मिला है आगे भी वही प्यार बरकरार रहे. सैया तू कमाल का, बातें भी कमाल की, लगा रंग जो तेरा, हुई मैं कमाल की. पायो रे पायो रे पायो रे पायो रे पायो, पायो रे पायो रे पायो रे पायो रे पायो, पायो रे पायो रे पायो रे पायो रे पायो रे, प्रेम रतन धन पायो, प्रेम रतन धन पायो, रत मिलन की राहों, प्रेम रतन धन पायो मेरी, प्रेम रतन धन पायो.
oh wow. और हमने पलक रतन धन पायो. So thank you so much, Palak. Thank you so much for joining
Pleasure.
on filmishilmy.com. It's been such a pleasure
Pleasure.
to have you. Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.